So I have a little weekend book haul for you, and you might be asking yourself, John, I thought you weren't buying any more books, and we all know when we say that on this app that it's a lie. But I've actually been sticking to that pretty well. Really, I've just kind of been following my rules, which is I laid out. Some things are still okay to buy, some things I'm closing off. Used bookstores, which is what we went to today, kind of fall in a gray area. I'm still trying not to buy a lot when I go to a used bookstore. I'm trying to be very selective, which is actually why I was surprised I found four books that I really wanted today. But my partner and I have been doing this thing where we basically do like a date night sort of thing that we pick out of a jar of 52 that he created. And it's really been a lot of fun. We've fallen a little behind because there's some things that just take longer to get to, but we've both really been enjoying it. And this time we opened up an Illinois map and I put my finger on it, after kind of we swirled it around, so it was harder to figure out where it was. And we ended up in Springfield, Springfield, Illinois, which made us laugh because we've been to Springfield, Illinois many times. But there is a place that I have really enjoyed going to for really the last 20 some years, and that is the Book Rack. This used bookstore has been around for a very long time, and I'm excited that it's still an ongoing concern. And I usually find something there. So this time I was really focusing a lot on these sort of pocketbook, small size paperbacks because I just wanted to take some time to look through them, which I don't usually do because I'm just kind of running around looking for other books. But knowing I wanted to be really selective, I looked through those, and it's always just fun to me to look at the different covers that they've got going on because, in the 70s and 80s in particular, I just find the covers so evocative and interesting. They usually feature lots of beautiful artwork, or sometimes they have like really weird things that are just fun to look at. So I spent some time there, and I did end up picking out two of them. The first one is called The Alejandra Variations by Paul Cook. This one I've never heard anything about at all ever. I did love this sort of classic sci-fi painting here. It's always like intriguing. There is someone who keeps being reborn throughout time and like extreme measures of time. So I don't know, it seemed intriguing. There are a few things I'm like a little like just based on the back, I'm like, ooh, I hope they handle this well, but we'll see. I mean, it'll be a while before I get around to this, but I'm excited to have it in the collection. Now, this next one, I kind of feel like I've either seen it before or I've heard of it before. I bought this because the cover is so cool. I just absolutely love it. And that is The Hall of the Mountain King by Judith Tarr. I don't know if you can actually see, but this is all embossed here. And just the artwork itself, I thought was really beautiful. Now, one thing about the book rack is a lot of newer stuff tends to go quickly. People can call ahead and see if there's certain books and they can put them aside for you. So I don't necessarily think about finding newer books there, but I was very, very excited to find Tender is the Flesh. This one is one I've been wanting to read for a while. There are sometimes sort of mixed reviews I've noticed, at least from the people I follow, but I do think that the premise is very intriguing, and I've been wanting to read this for a little while, so I'm glad to add this to the to be read pile. And then finally, there was a fantastic deal on a hardcover. This one I hadn't heard of, I didn't even know it had been written, but it's about two subjects I really love, and that is Space Odyssey. This is dealing with Stanley Kubrick, Arthur C. Clarke, the making of 2001. I love both the book and the film. I read the book when I was very young, probably really too young to fully appreciate it, but I just fell in love with 2001 around the same time. I think I was probably like 9 or 10 years old, and it really captured my imagination. I watched that movie so many times as a kid. I watched it on VHS over and over, and I read the original story by Arthur C. Clarke. I read 2010. It's been a little while since I've read a nonfiction book about a movie that was like, not like an art book, like an actual book like this. I suppose the last one I really read was the one on Jaws last summer. So I'm very excited to tuck into this. I might actually make this one a little bit more of a priority, maybe even next month or the following month. So those were my very careful additions to the TBR, the ever growing mountainous piles that continue to just keep growing. But I'm really happy with these. I think they were good selections. I kind of feel like when you're in a used bookstore, if you see something that's in good shape or that just seems intriguing, like just go for it. You can always decide to get rid of it later if you don't end up reading it. But I think it's worth just taking a chance, especially on those things that you might not see just everywhere. You might have to order online. It's almost always much cheaper just to grab it in store.